Greetings, everyone. So today I wanted to talk about something that was on my mind. You all should know where I stand as far as protesting goes. And yes, everyone has their own way of doing things. But being abusive to the Scientologists or people being abusive to government officials, or as far as that goes, cops, even if they're a dirty cop. My mother used to always say, 2 rights don't make a wrong. How can anyone try to stand up against abuse in abusing other people? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. And sadly, in our society, there's enough trauma to go around for everyone. I do think certain adults as well as children get way more trauma. It just really doesn't set right with me. Like, whether it is at the Los Angeles Department of Public Works meetings, or, various meetings. I'm not saying I'm some perfect person. By no means am I. What I mean is just straight up being abusive. Straight up being abusive. Now, I admire, and I'm not saying that William Goode is doing that. I just want to bring up that I like his style. He always has a point to make. He always backs up everything that he says with facts, data, proof. I've also seen different individuals at while I'm watching on YouTube, at the police commissioners meetings, that some people would deem abusive, and I totally would understand their point of view. I think in certain situations, I 100% understand why people are screaming and hollering. Like when the police officers are straight up murking people. Not hidden in plain sight, in front of everybody's face. I guess in some ways I might call that righteous anger. But when people are going around telling other people, whether it's on the internet or in real life, that they are advocating against abuse of children or advocating against abuse of elderly or whatever it may be, how could you possibly say that when you're going around and abusing other people? Chastising people at these meetings, telling them that they're no good and they're screwing up, and talking to people as if they're a child. I think it's abusive. I mean, there's a way to do things. We all get heated sometimes. I definitely do. One thing that my mother did always teach me is how did she used to word this? Well, I mean, the old-fashioned saying, you get more bees with honey than you do with vinegar, or something like that. Really, when you think about it, you can get things done without abusive language or cruel comments towards people. People have a right to be upset about certain things. I understand that. When I was a young lady, I went through some changes, let's just say that. I had been in an abusive relationship myself, extremely so. So, you guys remember when you were a little kid and you'd be on the playground, back before 3-year-olds were on phones, radiations are us. Remember when you'd be on the playground and there'd always be that kid bossing everyone around? I can't stand people like that. I can't stand it. Now, there's a difference between, let's say you have a full-grown adult they're just very good at seeing the whole picture of things. And they might tell someone, oh, hey, you go get the bread. You go get the sodas. Mark, go get the potato salad. Because they're trying to make something happen and they're not being rude. They're just able to see everything, and they're able to say, hey, if you get the potato salad, I'll do this. Or really good leaders are able to see talents and abilities in certain people. Some employers are like this. Those are the good employers. They're able to see something in a person and nurture it and help that person grow, which makes the company a better place as well. Sometimes it makes them more money. Sometimes it brings them more clients, whatever it is. But it doesn't set right with me. And this goes for anywhere I am. You guys could shadow me and see how I freaking deal with stuff like that. And again, I do believe in the law of attraction, but there are going to be times where you walk into an environment that's going to be more lower vibrational or more machine-like. Like, for example, every time I go to the medical industrial complex. And they're saving my life, by the way, so I'm not complaining. You're walking into the machine. I really like how Jamie Mustard keeps talking about the machine, because it's important. And his analogy is the machine of Scientology that exists through, in my opinion, would be through the policies of, allegedly, LRH. But everybody gets triggered sometimes. I get it. But how can you be imploring people or asking individuals for help, whether it is a Los Angeles Public Works Commission, I don't know, I'm getting it all mixed up, Public Works meeting, someone who's of authority, by screaming and hollering? I mean, nobody really gets things done like that. And I'm not saying I've never screamed or hollered. I try to stay out of environments that get me in a bad state like that. But every once in a blue moon, when I need to call the other girl out, I do. And what I mean by that is, depending on what day and what place this is, I say I got to call my Army girl out, or I got to call out the New York in me. Sometimes you got to do it. I think I was watching a video by Rabbit the other day, and she said Sometimes she feels like she has to match the energy. So I get that. I love the way she explained that. Sometimes you do have to do that. I feel like a person like Streets, he probably gets so sick of people talking about him, but I admire the way he does things. And sometimes it is kind of harsh. But to me, the way he gets things done and the way he gets his point across, the way I look at it, it's righteous anger. And yes, sometimes he clowns on people or he shames them. But every once in a while, sometimes people do deserve that. But going around barking orders at people, and I've dealt with that in my family. I'm done with people like that. Done. D-U-N. Done. No matter why a person is screaming and hollering or being extremely abusive and rude, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter why that is. You're being extremely rude and abusive, period. It's not for other people to... How do I explain this? It's not for other people to rectify that for you. That's your job to do that. I just got so many thoughts. And maybe someone might take this wrong. You guys know, I don't care. But, really, think about that. How are you standing up for abused children or abused elders, or like in Streets, LA's case, and you know I'm dyslexic, so I probably screwed it up. In his case, police corruption. How can you do that by absolutely just abusing people? William Good puts the work in. You guys know I kind of stay out of stuff. I do kind of snoop on certain channels, though, just to get the most current information on certain things. But I do try to stay out of it. But I'm a very curious person, so I want to know stuff. And I'm not perfect. And sometimes you got to use anger to shut people down if they're trying to abuse you, or maybe you're out and about and you see like an elderly woman getting screamed at, or children. You've got to use common sense, though, because I've been in that situation. You can definitely endanger the children or the elders, or you can endanger yourself, because there's a lot of people out here that are freaking unhinged. To me, when I hear or see a person constantly doing that, like doing those types of things, and then saying they're an advocate or they're this or they're that, and they always have to tell everyone what they're doing, that they're like this angel, or they got their little Joan of Arc cape on. To me, that's virtue signaling. I personally, and I'll just say it, I don't care. I know that Mike Rinder is no longer living, but I always felt like he was virtue signaling. I love Audit LA's style. absolutely love it. And not to say that righteous anger doesn't come in a certain time or place. But if you guys have ever, and I've dealt with this as a child and other times, people screaming at you. Screaming at you. It sends me into PTSD every single time. How can you act like that, but you're an advocate against abused people? When you're abusing other people, it doesn't matter if they're a mayor, it doesn't matter if they're a police officer, and you guys know what I feel about dirty police officers. But I mean, it really is kind of that whole thing. Two wrongs don't make a right. I don't know. I might get some hatred for this, but that's fine. I really don't care about that. I hope you all have a good day. Peace.